At family dinner in our Round Rock home, my mom proudly introduced a new woman to my husband. I smiled sweetly and said, "Then please, everyone get out of my house." My husband instantly dropped to his knees, begging me to stay. My name is Jenna Jenkins, and until 2 months ago, I thought I had the perfect marriage to my husband. We'd been together for 7 years, married for 4, and I truly believed we were building something solid in Austin, Texas. How wrong I was. The red flags had been waving for months, but I chalked them up to job pressure. He worked as a teacher at a local high school while I ran my nursing shifts at a clinic downtown. The overtime hours, the hushed phone conversations, the sudden gym obsession, and new clothes. I should have pieced it together faster. It hit me when I glimpsed a text pop up on his phone during his shower. "Can't wait for dinner tomorrow. Your mom says you've called us just colleagues for now." The sender was some woman I didn't know. My blood ran cold as I realized mom meant my own mother who'd never approved of our match. She'd pushed him toward someone from a wealthier circle, seeing me as too independent after building my career from scratch. But to scheme an affair, over the next 2 months, I turned investigator in my own life. I hired a private eye who dug up the truth. He'd been seeing this real estate agent for 3 months, introduced by my mom at a community fundraiser I'd missed for work. The evidence was brutal dates at spots we'd never gone, parks where he proposed to me, gym parking lots we shared. Worse, my mom was fueling it, arranging secret meetups while I was away on fake shifts. As devastated as I felt, I stayed sharp. My dad taught me strategy young: see the full picture before you act. So I mapped it out, gathering every detail for the right moment. If you've ever dealt with family betrayal like this, smash that like button and subscribe for more real stories. Don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss an update. 2 months ago, everything shifted when I checked Charles's phone. He'd left it on the counter while showering, and a notification lit up the screen. The message was from Kelsey Long. "See you at dinner tomorrow. Can't wait to meet the family properly. Kayla says you've told them we're just work friends for now." My heart stopped. Kayla was my mother, Kayla Powell, and the reference to them likely included Shannon Hughes, my mother-in-law. Why would they be involved in this? I froze there in our Round Rock kitchen, staring at the words that shattered my world. The betrayal hit like ice water, my own mother plotting against my marriage, pulling strings with Shannon to introduce this woman to my husband. I pieced it together quickly. Kelsey Long was a 28-year-old real estate agent who'd recently relocated to Austin. From what I recalled, she came from money her family owned properties in Connecticut, including a waterfront home passed down generations. That explained the appeal. My mother had always resented my independence, pushing Charles towards someone from a richer background who could elevate the family finances. Shannon, equally snobbish, had joined forces with her at a local community fundraiser in Austin 3 months back. I'd skipped it due to a late shift at the clinic handling an emergency patient. Tracy Flores, my mother's closest friend and a nosy neighbor in our suburb, had helped organize private dinners where Kelsey played the part of Charles's date while I was supposedly on call. Those business meetings, Charles mentioned lies to cover romantic outings. The shock turned my stomach. How could my flesh and blood do this? Kayla Powell, who raised me to be strong, now undermining everything because she saw me as too focused on my nursing career. And Shannon Hughes, who'd never warmed to me as her son's wife, teaming up for this scheme. I felt rage bubble up, mixed with disbelief at the depth of their manipulation. Tracy's involvement stung too. She'd been like an aunt, yet here she was facilitating secret meals at upscale spots downtown. Determined not to react impulsively, I contacted William Washington, a private investigator recommended by a colleague. He was discreet and thorough, operating from a small office near the Austin Capitol. Over the next few weeks, he tailed Charles and gathered evidence. His report confirmed the affair had lasted 3 months. Dates at Zilker Park, where Charles and I once picnicked during our engagement. Stolen kisses in the parking lot of our shared gym in Round Rock. dinners at trendy restaurants like Uchi that I'd never visited with him. Photos showed Kelsey beaming beside him, her polished look screaming old money. William's digging revealed Kayla and Shannon had met Kelsey at that fundraiser, praising her Harvard education and family wealth to Charles right away. Tracy had hosted 2 casual gatherings at her home where they encouraged the connection, even joking about how Kelsey could bring stability after a necessary change. The evidence piled up: receipts from joint accounts funding their escapades, texts coordinating lies about my work schedule. I sat in my home office staring at the files, feeling the weight of their deception. This wasn't just infidelity, it was a calculated family conspiracy. But knowledge was power, and I vowed to use it wisely. With evidence from William, I began reviewing the financial situation. First, I dug into our assets. The house in Round Rock was mine alone, bought with inheritance money from my grandparents before we married. It was a cozy 3-bedroom ranch-style home in a quiet suburb valued at around $300,000 now. The prenuptial agreement we'd signed, insisted on by my lawyer back then, protected it completely. Charles had grumbled at the time, but I'd explained it safeguarded my nursing business and personal holdings. What was mine stayed mine, and his remained his. No joint title on the property deed, which meant even in divorce he'd have no claim. I pulled up the documents on my laptop, scanning every clause to confirm. The agreement also covered infidelity clauses, allowing me to seek damages if proven. This gave me leverage, especially with the photos showing his betrayal. Next, I scheduled a meeting with Diana Butler, my attorney, who'd handled my clinic contracts for years. Her office was in downtown Austin, a sleek space overlooking Lady Bird Lake. We met over coffee, and I laid out the folder of evidence. Diana reviewed it methodically, nodding as she flipped through pages. "This is solid," she said. "We updated the divorce paperwork, incorporating the affair details as grounds for fault-based separation under Texas law." She advised on proving financial infidelity, using our shared accounts for dates with Kelsey counted as misuse. We added clauses for asset division, ensuring my clinic income and the Round Rock house stayed untouched. Diana also suggested changing beneficiaries on my life insurance and retirement accounts to avoid complications. By the end, we had a rock-solid plan ready to file when the moment struck. Then I turned to monitoring transactions. Our joint checking account showed a pattern of charges that screamed deception. Dinners at upscale spots like Jeffrey's in Austin, weekend getaways to nearby hill country resorts. Even gifts from high-end stores, all billed while he claimed overtime pay. I logged into the banking app daily, screenshotting each entry: a $200 meal at a steakhouse, flowers from a florist near Kelsey's office, hotel stays totaling over $1,000. Over 3 months, it added up to $12,000, money from our shared savings meant for household bills. I created a spreadsheet tracking dates, amounts, and matching them to William's timeline of their meetings. This wasn't just spending, it was evidence of deceit that could sway a judge in my favor during asset splits. Finally, I opened new personal accounts to shield my earnings. As a nurse, my income from shifts at the Austin clinic flowed steadily, but I redirected direct deposits there quietly. I kept minimal transfers to the joint one, just enough for utilities and groceries to dodge suspicion. This way, if things escalated, my funds remained secure. I also updated passwords on all financial apps and added 2-factor authentication. The process felt empowering, turning my pain into preparation. Each step built my resolve, knowing their scheme wouldn't leave me vulnerable. A week before the dinner, Kayla called to confirm everyone would come to my house in Round Rock. Her voice oozed satisfaction over the phone, like she'd already won. "Jenna, we're all set for Saturday. Shannon, John, Tracy, and that lovely Kelsey will join us. It's going to be such a nice family gathering at your place." I could picture her smirk, assuming I'd play along blindly. She rambled about bringing her famous Texas-style brisket, but I heard the undertone, pushing Kelsey as the star guest. I kept my tone neutral, agreeing politely while my mind raced ahead. This call sealed my strategy. I'd turn the dinner into my reveal stage, exposing their plot in front of everyone. No impulsive confrontation. Instead, a calculated unmasking where they couldn't escape the fallout. I organized the evidence folder, meticulously printouts of texts, photos from William bank statements highlighting the misused funds. I added timelines matching Charles's late nights to their dates and notes on how Kayla, Shannon, and Tracy had orchestrated it all. The folder became my weapon, tucked safely in my home office drawer. Shopping came next. I drove to a boutique in downtown Austin, selecting a bold red dress that hugged my figure perfectly, the one Charles always complimented. Paired with diamond earrings from our third anniversary, it screamed confidence. I wanted to radiate strength when their facade crumbled. At home, I tried it on, practicing my calm smile in the mirror, envisioning the shocked faces around the table. Then I reached out to Elena Simmons, my best friend and fellow nurse. We'd met during training years ago, and she knew my family dynamics all too well. I texted her briefly, "Might need backup after dinner Saturday. Keep your phone on." She replied instantly, promising to be ready without prying for details yet. Her support felt like a lifeline, reminding me I wasn't alone in this mess. That morning, Charles surprised me with coffee in bed, his eyes unusually warm. "You look great today," he said, kissing my forehead. I sipped the brew, noting how attentive he seemed, helping with breakfast, commenting on my schedule. It reeked of rehearsal, probably coached by Kayla to soften me before the ambush. I played along, smiling back, but inside I seethed at the charade. Finally, I prepped the house. I cleaned the Round Rock living room, setting out fresh linens and arranging flowers on the dining table. The space looked inviting, like any normal family meal, but I positioned the folder nearby for easy access. I even tested the locks on my office, ensuring privacy until the moment arrived. Everything aligned for impact. That evening, the family gathered in my Round Rock dining room. The atmosphere buzzed with forced cheer under the simple Texas decor, wooden beams overhead, a few cacti plants on the windowsill, and a long oak table set for 8. Everyone arrived promptly at 6, Kayla bustling in with her brisket dish, John trailing behind with a bottle of wine, Shannon entering with her usual haughty air, Tracy chatting animatedly about neighborhood gossip, and Kelsey stepping in last, looking polished in a cream blouse and slacks. Greetings flew around, hugs that felt stiff, compliments on the house that rang hollow. Kayla pecked my cheek coldly. Shannon nodded curtly. John mumbled hello. Tracy squeezed my arm too hard, and Kelsey smiled brightly, unaware of the tension. Kayla wasted no time steering the spotlight. "Everyone meet Kelsey Long," she announced as we sat down, gesturing proudly. Shannon chimed in right away. "She's the rising star in Austin real estate, closed deals on million-dollar properties already. Comes from solid stock too, with that family estate in Greenwich." They painted her as the ideal catch, emphasizing her wealth from flipping high-end homes and inheriting a portfolio that could secure anyone's future. Kelsey blushed modestly, but her designer watch and subtle jewelry screamed affluence. It was clear why they pushed her financial perks for the family circle. Conversation flowed to careers during the appetizer course. Kayla boasted, "Kelsey graduated Harvard Business School just like Charles. They share so much ambition networks." Shannon added, "Real estate's all about connections, and Kelsey's got them in spades. Her dad's a big investor back east." Charles nodded enthusiastically, his eyes lingering on Kelsey. I interjected smoothly, "That's impressive. I built my nursing practice from community college straight into the clinic. Hands-on experience teaches things books can't." Kelsey replied politely, "Absolutely, practical skills matter. Your work must be rewarding, helping patients daily." But Kayla pressed on. "Kelsey's already top in her firm, handling luxury listings. Trust's key in her world, no hidden motives with clients." I stayed composed, observing every move. Charles shook Kelsey's hand longer than needed, his fingers brushing hers subtly. John backed Kayla, constantly laughing at her jokes about fresh starts, and adding, Sometimes new pairs just click better. Look at how well Kelsey fits here. His support for his wife was blatant, nodding along as Shannon praised Kelsey's background. Tracy jumped in with stories of Kelsey's recent sales, amplifying the glow. Meanwhile, I noted the side glances, Kayla's smug expression, Shannon's calculating stare, Charles's fidgeting when topics veered close to truth. The salad plates cleared and talk shifted to family backgrounds. Kayla prompted Kelsey, "Tell us about your upbringing, that cottage sounds charming." Kelsey described it casually. "It's been in the family generations, nothing fancy, just a spot on the water." I nearly scoffed. The cottage was likely worth millions per Williams' research. Shannon exclaimed, "Perfect for someone expanding like Charles with his teaching career, could use those investment ties." John agreed. Exactly, real potential there. Charles smiled at Kelsey, his posture leaning toward her. I responded evenly. Location matters, but so does building your own path. Charles and I chose Round Rock for its community feel. Kayla dismissed it with a tight grin. Practicality over charm. That's you, Jenna. Always work first. Tension simmered as entrees arrived. I watched Charles steal glances at Kelsey, her eyes lighting up in response. John kept endorsing Kayla's hints like, "Life surprises you with better matches." Tracy added light anecdotes, but the undercurrent was clear. They positioned Kelsey as my replacement. I held my tongue, gathering mental notes for the reveal. As the main course hit the table, Kayla and Shannon ramped up the agenda. Kayla sliced into her brisket and declared, "Young couples today need real foundations. Kelsey's got that, properties turning profits left and right." Shannon nodded vigorously. Her portfolio could fund expansions, vacations, whatever. Smart money pairs with smart money. Tracy leaned in, eyes sparkling. "I heard her last flip in South Austin netted $500,000. Imagine what that stability does for a family." They framed Kelsey as the golden ticket, her wealth the solution to every imagined shortfall in our lives. The hints sharpened. Kayla eyed me sidelong. "Charles works so hard at that school, but Jenna's always buried in shifts. They barely overlap anymore." Shannon added, "Distance creeps in. Kelsey's schedule aligns perfectly, flexible, available." Tracy chuckled. "Better matches pop up when you least expect." They painted our marriage as stale, Kelsey as the vibrant upgrade. Kayla pressed, "That Greenwich cottage alone, prime real estate. Charles could teach nearby, build something lasting." Shannon agreed. "Exactly. Legacy matters." I cut in calmly. Trust is the real foundation. Without it, no amount of square footage holds. Charles shifted fork, pausing midair. I continued. "Real estate values fluctuate, markets crash, deals fall through, but loyalty, that's non-negotiable." Kelsey looked puzzled, sensing the edge. Kayla bristled. "We're just talking hypotheticals." I smiled thinly. "Hypotheticals based on what exactly?" John jumped to Kayla's defense immediately. "Your mother knows best for the family. New energy could refresh things." His tone left no doubt, he backed every word. Shannon smirked. "Charles deserves options that elevate, not just maintain." The room fell quiet for a beat, forks scraping plates the only sound. Tracy, trying to lighten, launched into a story. "Remember my old neighbor left his wife for the yoga instructor, happier than ever now." The parallel hung heavy, unintended but perfect. Charles avoided my gaze, face flushing. Kelsey toyed with her napkin, smile faltering. Kayla shot John a triumphant glance. He nodded back. Shannon refilled wine glasses, steering talk to Kelsey's latest listing. Downtown condo, 7 figures, easy. I countered, "Numbers impress, but actions speak louder." Hiding expenses, for instance, that erodes everything. Charles coughed, nearly choking. John frowned. No need for accusations at dinner. Yet his support for Kayla never wavered, echoing her every nudge. Tension coiled tighter. Kayla persisted. Charles, tell Kelsey about your curriculum ideas. She could fund pilot programs. Shannon urged, partnerships like that change lives. I interjected, partnerships built on deception collapse fastest. The air thickened. Tracy's story lingered like smoke. John grumbled agreement with Kayla under his breath, while Kelsey glanced between us, confusion growing. I absorbed every reaction: Charles's sweat, Kayla's glare, Shannon's clenched jaw, John's unwavering loyalty to his wife. The stage was set. By dessert time, Kayla openly proposed Kelsey as my replacement after divorce. She raised her glass with a flourish. To Kelsey, the perfect fit for Charles, once things wrap up. The words sliced through the air like a knife. John clinked his immediately. Shannon beamed approval. Tracy froze mid-bite. Kelsey looked startled but pleased while Charles stared at his plate. The room went still, all eyes turning to me. I buttered a roll deliberately, letting the silence stretch. Then I reached for the folder beside my chair and slid it open. Interesting choice, I said sweetly, facing Kelsey. Did they tell you the house is mine alone, protected by prenup? Charles went pale, glass slipping in his hand. I continued. Or that I've got photos of your dates. Zilker Park walks, gym lot, kisses, dinners at Uchi. I fanned out prints from William, each time stamped. 3 months of this funded by our joint account, $12,000 on hotels, gifts, meals. Kayla's mouth gaped. What nonsense! But I cut in. Not nonsense. Details show you and Shannon introduced them at the fundraiser. Tracy hosted cover dinners. I pointed to transcripts, texts, coordinating lies about my shifts. Kayla's messages urging Charles forward. You promised Kelsey the big house post-divorce, no money worries. Shannon sputtered. This is outrageous. John banged the table. How dare you accuse your mother? Tracy stayed mute, eyes wide. Kelsey turned ashen, glancing at Charles in horror. The total hit them hard, evidence of Dan's Sepp clear as day. Charles stammered, Jenna, let's talk privately. I shook my head. No, you chose public humiliation for me, so here's the truth. I stood, dress smoothing under my hands. The affair's real, orchestrated by Kayla with Shannon's help, Tracy's facilitation. Prenup voids any claim on my Round Rock home bought with my inheritance, stays mine. Kelsey whispered, You said you were separated. I nodded. He lied. About everything, our intimacy, my coldness, using shared money for your romps. Charles dropped to his knees, then grabbing my arm. Please forgive me. We can fix this. Tears streamed down his face, voice breaking. I pulled away firmly. Fix what? The betrayal, your mother's sabotage. No. He begged louder. I love you, not her. But I stepped back. Actions prove otherwise. Get up. John roared. You're destroying the family. He stood beside Kayla, arm around her, defending every accusation. Shannon joined. Charles deserves better than your ambition. Kelsey's genuine. Her fury matched John's, both rallying for Kayla. Tracy sat silent, avoiding eyes, while Kelsey pushed her chair back, face crumpled in confusion. I didn't know, she muttered. I addressed the room. Divorce papers file tomorrow. Charles keeps his savings share, but the house mine. Kayla shrieked, Ungrateful child. John echoed, You'll regret this. Shannon hissed threats about family ties, but their anger only fueled my calm. Kelsey stood abruptly. This is messed up. Tracy finally whispered apologies, but the damage showed. As chaos peaked, I pointed to the door. Get out of my house, all of you. Charles pleaded once more from the floor, but I turned away. The reveal had landed. Their plot exposed my strength unchallenged. The next morning, Kelsey called me. Her voice shook slightly. Jenna, it's Kelsey. I pulled your number from Charles's contacts. Hope you don't mind. I told her to go ahead. I ended it last night, she said flatly. After you laid everything out, I confronted him. He admitted the lies, how Kayla and Shannon fed me stories about your separation. She explained realizing their manipulation using her real estate success and family money as leverage to split us. They painted you as distant, obsessed with work, but I see now they just wanted control. Kelsey apologized profusely for believing them, feeling like a pawn in their scheme. Tracy's role in those setup dinners hit her hard too. I'm packing up today, she added, heading back to Boston to start fresh away from this mess. The divorce proceeded swiftly. Diana Butler handled it all, filing in Travis County under Texas rules. With no kids and clear prenup terms, it qualified for uncontested status, though we included fault for the affair to strengthen my position. Charles didn't fight, overwhelmed by the proof. Finalized in under 60 days, he walked away with half our joint savings, but nothing else. The Round Rock house remained mine, title untouched. His downfall accelerated when the story leaked online. Austin's local forums and Reddit threads exploded with details, anonymous posts from witnesses at the dinner. Parents at his school complained. The district investigated, citing conduct unbecoming. He lost his teaching job within weeks, resumed tainted by the scandal. Charles moved to a cheap apartment downtown, struggling with unemployment checks. Kayla's world crumbled in the community. Round Rock neighbors whispered at grocery stores. Her book club expelled her after members heard the full tale. Church friends distanced themselves, invitations to barbecues vanished. She tried damage control, texting relatives that I overreacted, but backlash mounted. Social media comments called her out as a meddler. Shannon faced similar exile in her upscale Austin Circle golf outings, canceled her charity board seat, revoked amid gossip. Their partnership soured. Arguments flared over who botched the plan. John clung to Kayla, loyally defending her in heated family calls, but it isolated him further. Siblings cut ties, holidays turned awkward. His stubborn support failed spectacularly, their marriage strained, home filled with resentment. Tracy faded into silence, avoiding our suburb streets. Kelsey followed through, relocating to Boston and thriving in commercial properties there. She even lunched with shared contacts before leaving, recounting how she'd been duped. Meanwhile, I embraced solitude in Round Rock, morning runs in the neighborhood, advancing at the clinic without distractions. I started yoga classes, met new friends, felt lighter every day. This experience hammered home self-respect's value against family control. By standing tall, I reclaimed my life, proving manipulation backfires. In America, personal rights empower, laws protect assets, courts deliver justice swiftly, communities enforce accountability. Financial independence shields you, allowing escape from toxic bonds. The best response isn't vengeance, it's thriving beyond their reach.